Hello, everybody. Welcome to May's Tech Tips webinar. I'm joined today, even though you can't see his face at the moment, by Pierre. He is going to be taking our webinar. He is going to be walking you through the organic product design capabilities within Geomagic Freeform using the example of a customized bicycle helmet. I'm Guy. I'm the product marketing manager for Freeform for the Geomagic portfolio, including Freeform, should I say. And I will be here just to monitor your questions and to run the question and answer session at the end. This presentation should take around 40 minutes, so there'll be plenty of time for you to ask questions at the end. If you haven't joined a webinar like this before, you should have your GoToWebinar panel on your screens. If you navigate to the bottom, there is a questions drop-down menu. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to drop them in there and Pierre will answer them at the end. So without further ado, I will pass over to you, Pierre.
Okay, good morning or afternoon, depending where you're located. I'm Pierre Marechal from France. I'm in charge in the Optum team of the Freeform family software, and I will show you today I will show you how I can build a bike helmet starting from scratch only by using Freeform. First thing to do, I will switch my screen to Geomagic Freeform. Then I will remove this 2D device because in Freeform, we will use only this 3D device, which allows me to directly sculpt and create things by giving the 3D information to the object. So the first thing I will do to build this helmet will be to import a 3D scan model, which will be on my desktop, which will be simply a mannequin head. It's an STL file, which is somewhere. Let me find it here. So here it is. I will import it as a mesh because Freeform can manage at the same time mesh object, we see classical polygonal object, and clay objects. Let me just apply it. My 3D device will allow me to fully rotate around the object, zoom in, zoom out, of course. And the first thing I will do, I will convert this mesh object into a clay object, a digital clay object. For that, in my object list, which will contains every information about my project, I will just click on the icon, go in Mesh Utility, and ask to copy my mesh into digital clay. Here in the Dina bar, which shows every time the active tools options, I will choose my level of detail. Let's say 1 millimeter will be enough in the beginning. Then I will apply it. So here's my digital clay object. The first thing to do with this, to build my helmet, will be to create a plane here to draw the first lines. In my tool palette, I will choose my Create Plane tool. Then here in the Dina bar, the first button will allow me to sketch on this plane. Then I will draw two things. The first one will be a 2D curve on the plane, just roughly to draw the shape of the here. I will press E to end the curve because I will build here my first helmet part and I don't want it to move it on the here, to be on the here. So I will offset this curve, let's say by 20 centimeters, because I've already made some drawings just to have the rough shape of my helmet. Let me zoom out. Then I will draw this line from here to, let's say, here. I can go, on the edit button to modify this curve. Let me be tangent here. And I will add some 2D curves, one here to make this frontal part. And I will draw another one starting from the back here to protect the back of the head. After I will press E to end, then I will edit my curves. Let's say this one will move a little more like this and like this. I can move this point, of course, and maybe this one on the front. Here, I don't want to have an angle between those two ones, so I would select this curve and I can move the tangency. And I will be tangent to my line. The line will become green highlighted. And with the device, I'm locked on the tangency direction. My curves are looking good. So what I will do now, I will work on my mannequin head, because this here will maybe give some troubles when I will try to build the head. So I will temporarily hide the plane. Then I will remove my mannequins here. In Freeform, we have some tools to make that. I can, of course, if needed, take a sculpting tool. With the plus key, increase the size. Then sculptor here. It's pure sculpting, like this. I can really feel the clay, so it's quite easy. Then after that, I can choose a smooth tool, choose the maximum smooth level, and smooth the area. It can give quite nice result, but it's not perfect, or it will be long. Let me undo all of this, and I will show you another way to make it. Here, I can smooth the painted area. So this allows me to, again, by touching the object, paint over here. Let me be sure I will not forget one part. But I will not smooth it. I will ask Freeform to apply a defeature, which means, oh, I think I have some holes. Yeah, here in the area. The defeature function allows will tell Freeform to take all the tangencies around and to rebuild the inside. I will make the same for the other here. But as you saw, I can't forget if the shape is complex to paint something. And something good in Freeform is that all the selection tools are connected, which means I can go in my main select clay tools, select a polygonal selection to say, okay, I will select all of this. Then I will push to give the depth of selection. And when I will move back into my smooth area, everything gets transferred in it, and I can apply the defeature immediately. If I click on the button, of course. Next step will be to make a smooth on it, because as you can see, there's here the parting line of my mannequin head. So I will stay in the same tool, select all my objects, choose a very big smooth level, then apply a global smoothing on the object, one more, maybe a third one. Like this, I'm sure the surface will be perfectly nice. Let me call back my right plane. Then I will project those 2D curves onto my model. I will move the palette tools to the 3D curve tools. Project sketch. I will project this one, and this one. I could hide my plane, but I will not. I will go in my plane functions, select the plane, then I will move it here at the center of my object. Like this, I will use this plane as a reference. I can increase the size as a reference to mirror my object. Then I can edit the curve. The first thing is this, and these are two separate curves. I will join them by clicking on the join button, click this one and this one. The second thing, they are dark blue, which means they are not fitted on the clay. In the select tool, I can select all the curves and activate the fit to clay function. And to be able to modify and edit the curves, I will just change the numbers of points. I think 5 points will be enough for each curve. And now, because I will build only half of the helmet, I will just take this point and move it on the other side of my helmet, of my head, sorry. It's not yet an helmet. So I'm going to move here. And this one here. That's okay. I will also draw the other curves, but this time directly on my free object. It would be easy because I can touch the object with my device. So let me start from the side. Let's say from here. Then I will draw something in between here. Here, then I will finish somewhere here, need to end. And I will draw a second one exactly at the limit symmetry. And it will be easy because I can feel the plane and feel the head, which means, let me go out of chat, I can be locked exactly here between, on the symmetrical plane and of course on the head. Here they are. I think still need one more from here. There. Perhaps again, I will go on the other side. The symmetry. And should I need a last one? Yes. To reinforce this area. I will start from here and draw one in the middle of here, two ends here. So here's my helmet curve network. And now I can start build my object. Let me hide the plane. I will use a function which is the ridge. The ridge allows me to take a 2D shape and ask it to follow a path. I will choose a square shape, but I will change it because it would be too square. In Freeform, I can edit any shape, any profile. I will just select this top part of the profile to make it more round. Then I will reduce the bottom part to make it slower in contact with the cranial. Let me save it. Call it helmet. Okay, and down. Let me select this again. And I will ask for the settings. Let's say the thickness will be 40 millimeters and the width will be 30 millimeters. Here it is. This will be my first part of the helmet. As you can see, it follows the surface tangency. But for this first one, I would prefer to have it constant. So here in the profile orientation, I will choose curve tangent. And of course, like usual, I need to rotate it 90 degrees. So I can take this point and ask 90 degrees rotation. And I have a snap every 90 degrees. Here it is. I will create this one, but I don't need, I need to don't have it merge into my head. So by clicking here, I will create a new piece. 1 millimeter level of detail will be good. This is the voxel size. And I will create it. Freeform is based not on polygons, but it's working on voxels, which allows me to make many modifications on the object. Now I will add this one. But for this one, I will ask Freeform to change it and to put it on surface tangency. I will not create a new piece. And no, I forgot to select this one. Okay, here's the half of my helmet. Just to see the results, I will ask for a symmetry, and I will match my symmetry plane with my center plane. Preview to check if I take the good one, then apply. Here's the first part of my helmet. I can already choose the smooth tool, which is a good thing with voxels. Choose an average, smooth level, then smooth this area. Let me work on the second part. Let me first rename this one. Helmet out. Let me go back in my range, select this. This one will be 40 by 30. I will make it different. I will change the 8th to make something more, let's say, alive. And here I will call back my mannequin head to be sure, no, I'm not too close or too far from the here. I'm too far from the here. I can, even if I'm inside of the function, edit the curve to change the points live. Then I will create a new piece again, apply. This will be my helmet out. Select this one. Oops, I will not create a new piece. As usual, this one. Create. Again, I will ask for a symmetry. I will match it with my plane, ask for a preview, apply. Here's my helmet. At the start of the helmet, let me hide this one, because I don't want it to come in front of the head like this to follow the front of the head, but I need to have something moving more forward to protect the eyes against the sun. To make that, I will activate my helmets out because Freeform is always working on one object. Then I will go in my deform clay tools and I will choose the lattice deform. Let me choose the side view with F3. Lattice deform allows me to set a deformation box by changing the numbers of control points, and also to edit this grid before changing. By example, this row should be aligned with this point. And I will edit the box, choose those two rows. I will ask for a constraint on the y-axis, which is this one, to be sure they will move only vertically. That's this one. Select the top row. Remove the window select, move it down. Now I can deform my object. I will select only this front, this row, the Z direction. Then I will lock it on the Z axis. Ask for a zoom. Then I will pull it front like that. Select this row to change it a little too, and to move it like this. Then apply. As to exit the function, I can rotate my model. And I see it's not square enough for me. So I will use another deformation tool. Let me rotate the view. I will use the Touch tool. The Touch tool allows me to take any part of the model. And because I'm working on a voxel-based, I can deform everything with a total freedom. I can even, to see what will happen, ask for a symmetry, because here I cannot see the results. But if I activate the interactive symmetry, I can make it in real time. I will just activate an axis snap to be sure I will move only in one direction. Then move this one like that. Then I will reduce my sphere just to make us a little sharper. Edges like this. That looks good. Let me now go back in my smooth area, select all the model, choose an average smooth level, then smooth it. Activate this one and make the same operation. Select all, smooth. Here's my helmet shape. I can already ask for painting if I want to see what it looks like. So this one is, of course, the in, not the out. So the helmet hint, which is this one, I will change its color to make it orange. That now I will activate my helmet out. Go in paint again. I will try to choose a nice blue. If I don't know exactly which blue to take, but if I know the values, I can enter the values in RGB or in hue saturation light, which is the other way of making it. That's quite good. I can already go more in detail. Freeform is working in voxels, which means with a 1 millimeter of voxels, I'm not able to have details smaller than 1 millimeter. At any moment, I can select my object and increase or decrease, if needed, the voxel size to go more deep in detail. I can, by example, now add some small details on it by stamping something on my helmet. In Freeform, you can create some relief by using any 2D image. And I have an arrow one, by example, this one. When I will touch the object, Freeform will automatically, if I activate this one, of course, automatically adjust the tangency on my object. So let me click here. Then I will ask Freeform to emboss this arrow by 1 millimeter. Ask for a preview. Of course, it will follow the shape. Then I can apply. And I will make a mirror on my object. Ask for a preview, then apply. Of course, the color will also be symmetrical. Then I can join those two objects into one. I will select those two ones, make a Boolean, but I will ask Freeform to combine as a new object because I want to keep those two ones still available. My helmet is almost finished, but the most important part is to be done. It's to create the foam between the head and the strong part of the helmet. An easy way to make it in Freeform is to activate my mannequin head again and to build in the clay utilities an offset piece outside of the object by giving a value, let's say 8 millimeters, not bad, outside. Okay, Freeform will inflate all the model with a constant distance of 8 millimeters from the original size. Here it is. Let me smooth the object to remove the small grain size. Select everything, smooth. The smoothing tool is not sandpaper. It's really an average, which means it will not change the size of my object. And now I need to remove everything which is not in front of my helmet. Let me hide. Let me first rename this one. This will be the foam. It's always better to give pieces names. And this will be my helmet final. Hide the helmet final. In Freeform, You can use any piece, any object as a selection tool. Let me show you. I will come in, select clay. Then I will move in my object list. Click here on the object icon, go in clay utility, and I will click on clay to selection. Freeform will select all the intersection between my helmet, which I will display now, and the foam, as you can see. I just need to increase a little this selection to have a small overlap of the foam. Here in my toolbox utility, selection utility, I can inflate the selection. Let me click twice. Then I need to remove what is unselected. So I just have to invert the selection and press the delete key on the keyboard. Here's my foam. Almost my foam, because I have two things to do. The first one will be, of course, to remove the head from the foam, because this foam is going inside. So I will say my mannequin head will make a Boolean and will remove clay from my foam. Here it is. Oops, no, I need to make it the opposite. It will be more easy. First, I ask the foam to remove clay from the helmet final. So the foam will make a Boolean, will remove clay from my helmet final. Okay. Then the mannequin head will make a Boolean and will remove clay from the foam. Sometimes just switching to operations will make things a lot more easy. The foam is still with a 1 millimeter clay coarseness. Let me change this to 0.5. Okay. Then I will smooth it to have the same nice edges that I have for the rest of the helmet. One more. Good. And of course, I can give a color to this one. Oh, no, there's something I forgot. This is too flat. It's too regular. Let me try something. I will just hide the paint colors and I will activate this. This is my helmet final. Let me try to add some details on it because it's a lot too flat. I will draw some curves directly on my object to change the design. The curves are fitted to clay, which is perfect. Then I will draw one curve here. To here, it to end one here, which will come there. Then I will follow this area. Again, because I can touch the object, it's quite easy to make. Oops, it's vibrating sometimes. I can change my settings. Get free. Where am I? I'm here. E to N, then the last one here. I just need 1 point because I know Freeform will adjust it on the surface. Now, I will try something with Freeform. Oh, first, I need to mirror it one time. Just to let Freeform knowing where is my symmetry plane. Because now, I will go in my deform tools and choose the shape clay tool. The shape clay is working with a 4 curves area. Let me put some sections on it. So here I select the area. Here I create some sections. And here with the third one, I will edit the sections. Let's start by this one. Rotate the view. And I can extend this. Move this like this. And maybe this like that. So I can really change the shape in a very fast way. And if I want to have a symmetrical preview here, I just have to ask the interactive mirror shape. It changed this one. I can change the numbers of points. And I will just increase the tangencies a little just to have something quite regular. Something like this, and it should be good. Okay. Let me apply it. Next thing to do, I will make the same on the top here. So let me call back my right plane, and I will sketch a curve on the top of the helmet. I need to not draw a fitted curve because I need to be able to move the points from the surface to deform the object. Let me put one point here, here, and here at the end, and some at the end here to be sure it will follow the end tangency. And in Freeform, I can deform an object by using a simple curve. Let me activate the axis snap. Let me take the curve. I can set the modification radius. 30 millimeter is the width of this area, so it will be good. Then I can take any point, move it, then Freeform will deform the object following the curve. Of course, I need to stay on the symmetry. Here, you can see how it changes it. So the radius must be 50 and not 30. And I can change the way of it will be smoothed on my shape. I will move this one up a little. Then I will make something like that at the end, maybe the profile helmet. It's too sharp here on the top, so I will just change a little my smoothing area. Oh, it was nice. It's better like this. Maybe I can extend this a little. Every setting change are seen in real time, so I can really have a look on what it will look like. 15 was the good value. And apply it. I can hide all my curves. It's looking more, not aggressive, but yeah, sport one. Let me now smooth here the small limits I have just by painting this. And the same here on the other side, just to paint that. So I can make it manually, but it's more easy and fast. Paint it like that. I accidentally selected this edge. If I press Ctrl, I will activate the eraser to remove the selected area. I will choose the smooth level, then smooth. Here it is. It's almost finished. Let me display back the colors. So I need to reapply the colors because I've stretched this area out of my object. It will be quite easy. I will activate this one. I cannot because they are inside one of the other. The only way I will have will be to select the color here, to the paint tool, go inside of the object. In Freeform, you can work from in or outside, which is quite easy. I cannot paint with symmetry, but I will symmetry the object at the end to have a symmetrical paint on all the surface. tricky part would be this one, because I don't need to go and paint the orange part, but it's quite easy. It's really like painting on an object, because I can feel the object, I can feel the piece, I can feel any details of it. Let me ask for a symmetry. Once again, preview, apply. I need now to change my foam color. I will activate the foam and choose, oops, on the piece, of course, the dark gray color. Last thing to do, I told you that Freeform can emboss with any kind of image. So of course I need to put small logo. It will be here an emboss with a flat projection image. I will look for an image. I have one on my desktop, which is this one. Not choose it, I promise. Let's say 40 millimeters. Move it out of the object. Move it up a little. Ask for a 1 millimeter distance. Preview. Oh, of course, I need to activate this object. Preview. Oh, no, I need to emboss it. Then apply. As to exit, here's my foam. Let me display back my mannequin head. I can change the shininess of the object in change lighting. I can change the lighting in Freeform, which is not only the view, the light's position, but also the glossiness of the object. Here it is. This object can be immediately exported as an STL file or PLY file if you want to print it in colors. It can be directly from the object list, be sent to 3D Sprint to manage the printing. So you can make it everything you want with it. I would like to thank you for your attention. Then please feel free to ask questions. I will just take back this one to change my camera.
Thank you, Pierre. That was great. It's always really interesting to see how quickly you can design stuff. And I'm sure that the years of experience have helped, but the tools in Freeform look great. So thank you for that presentation. We have a couple of questions here. Obviously, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask them. If there's stuff that you think of after the webinar, then please feel free to reach out and we will answer them as best we can. So this first one, it looks like you're running Freeform Plus. Is there any major differences? What are the major differences between Freeform and Freeform Plus?
There is a lot. But to be honest, yes, I've launched Freeform Plus because it's my shortcut on the desktop, the closest one. But all the functions I used for this project are only using the Freeform functions. Freeform Plus will allow you to go more deep in some details. For example, in Freeform Plus, you have some mold capabilities, which allows you to check for the undercuts to be sure this object can be molded or not. You will also have the ability to create some patches, and solid to export this model as an IGS file, step file, or a Resolid file to continue or to finish the design on a CAD software. Yeah, Freeform Plus have more options than Freeform. This one is not in Freeform. The mold are not in Freeform too. And the last thing that Freeform have and not Freeform is what we call the Dynabot. Dynabot is a macro language that allows you to create some small macros to perform some repetitive tasks, to simplify the job for you.
Great, thank you. I know that you mentioned right at the beginning the device that you were using. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, Freeform is not using a 2D mouse because a 2D mouse can only give 2D information to a 3D software. So it's always missing something. And that's why most of the CAD softwares have lots of tools and options, because they need many of them just to go from the 2D mouse to a 3D object. By using this device, Freeform already gives the 3D information to the software and to the user, which is maybe most important, because you're always referenced to the object, because you can feel it and you can touch it. It will change many things. By example, let me just remove the paint colors. Okay, the helmet is activated. It allows me, by example, feel the object here and to directly on the surface of the object. Oops. I will, of course, choose a harder clay to immediately draw on the surface of the object. I'm not a sculptor, so you will see it immediately. I'm still working with interactive mirror because it's freeform and voxels, so I can go through. So here I can sculpt the object like I could make with a real clay object. Then after that, choose a smoothing tool with a very small smooth level. And then maybe not too small. And then smooth this. So the device allows me to make that, to touch the object and to really create something like I could make with a plaster or a real clay object in the end. And it's really changing many, many things. And that's why in Freeform, we have only one window, because the device and the touch feedback help the user to reconstruct, to rebuild the 3D object on the screen. So you don't need to have several views to have it. And this device can also be used as a simulation tool in some, let's say, teaching areas or academic use.
Great. The final question that we've got here, is Freeform 2023 due soon?
It will come.
It will come.
Yeah, Freeform 23 have been delayed a little because we were looking for some functions more complex to add than expected. And we really wanted to make it perfect when coming on the market. So Freeform should come, let's say, end of the summer, beginning of fall. Let's say October, I will think.
Perfect.
And we will communicate on it, of course, before
Absolutely.
it comes on the market.
From me as soon as the release is announced.
Yes.
Well, I think that is the last question. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to Pierre or send us a message across social media or reach out on the website. We'd be happy to answer them. Again, thank you very much, Pierre. Super interesting. It's always really
You're welcome.
Cool to see you help that quickly.
You're totally welcome.
Great.
So thanks a lot for your attention.
And we'll see you for another Tech Tips webinar this time next month. But have a good rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.